Let me start off with giving you the basic way of how we're going to hold the stick. Now, you don't want to hold it in the middle. You don't have any leverage that way, so you want to get more toward one end. Some people like to go all the way down to the end of the stick. I prefer about 1 fist length. That way you can use the end as a butt also. You can use this as a weapon. Some people like 2 fists. Okay? This is a personal preference. There's stances, there's footwork, there's angulation. The stances, generally speaking, are not static. They're not a stance where you're down low and waiting here. It's not something where you're looking for a power base. You want to be up on your toes. I want you to think of yourself like a sports person, like a basketball player, where you can move, you do your jump shot, a running back. They don't have time to stop and see what lead is forward. See, I want you to move around in long range. I want you to think of yourself like a boxer, where you're continually sticking and moving. You have to keep moving on this range. But when you break in to close quarter range, this is when you can use your hand. You can use your checking hand. You can get down a little bit lower in that particular range. I want to discuss a little bit about ranges with you. There's actually 6 ranges in the Filipino martial arts, but I'm going to break it down into 3 and make it a little bit easier. Okay, Mark? Okay, extend your stick. This is the first range. This is the longest range we have. We call this largo mano range. Largo mano range is that his stick cannot hit my head, but my stick can hit his hand. We don't do any blocking in the Filipino martial arts. If we say an inside sweep or an outside deflection, it's always a hand smash. So in largo mano range, if he were to hit me, I smack the hand. This is going to disarm the stick, and this is our block. So in actuality, this would be on the hand. This is largo mano range. Now, when I break in about 1 foot, we call this sombrado range. What constitutes sombrado range is that his stick can now hit my head. So therefore, if I go to smack his hand and miss, the stick is going to continue to hit my head. So I need to put in a checking hand. When he gives the number 1, this is my checking hand. I still smack the hand, but I've got to back up now. As soon as he fires this on, I've got this checking hand. The checking hand is very important in this range, sombrado range. I can't reach with the butt of the stick, though. So therefore, we have a 3rd range. We break into what we call hubad. This is hubad range. This is the butt of the stick. Everything flies in this range. You have your headbutt, you have your knees, you have your elbow, you have the butt of the stick. So this range here is close quarter range, would be equivalent to trapping range. So our 3 ranges, once again, are largo mano, where his stick cannot hit my head, but I can hit his hand. Sombrado, where I can check now because his stick can hit my head. And hubad range, which is the butt of the stick. These are the 3 ranges I want you to stress right now. Now I'd like to elaborate a little bit about the footwork of the Filipino martial arts. Everything is predicated around triangles. The reason for a triangle is when somebody is wheeling a stick at you at 120 miles an hour, you've got to get to what we call 0 pressure. Now, what is 0 pressure? 0 pressure is, let's say if a person starts out right here, an untrained fighter, he just cocks the stick back here. He starts out with his motion, it starts at, let's say, 10%. It goes 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100. This is your most dangerous position. This is where you don't want to be. From here, we go back 90, 80, 70, back to 0 pressure. So you have 0 at the beginning of the strike, and you have 0 at the end of the strike. The triangles enable you to get to that position a lot easier. Now, from this position, if an opponent comes in at me straight, I can angle at these different directions. Now, there are more triangles than these, but these are just some basic triangles that we want to help you with. When he comes straight in, if I zone to this position, this is the first triangle, so that would be this line right here, this angle. I can go out here, or I can come out this way. The second angle of attack, he comes in, I could zone at a 90. That would be right here. Or I could zone out at this side. So now we're using this person coming in, and I'm zoning this way. Now, and then we have the rear triangle, where you can zone out this way. And I want you to remember the purpose of the triangles, and that is to get you to 0 pressure, to get you away from the force of the attack. This is very important. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to use this without a weapon and just work the footwork by yourself at home. Just work the basic footwork. Okay? You're coming to all your different angles. Pretty soon you're not going to have to use this tape, but in the beginning it'll serve as a good training aid for you. All right, now what I'd like you to do is grab a stick and follow along with me. We're going to cover the 5 basic angles of attack. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a numbering system that you can use. That way when you're training, you're not going to say, okay, hit me like this, what you'll do is you'll just say, give me an angle 2, and you know what's happening. Other than that, there's no other reason to name these angles. One other thing is you've got a million different numbering systems. This particular numbering system I'm going to keep very simple. We're going to keep it down to 5 angles. Okay, I want you to grab your stick. You have 1 fist length for the butt. Stand in a normal position, step forward, and hit with a diagonal down. This is what we call an angle number 1. Keep your hand on your chest, keep it out of the way, and it's easy to check from here. Okay, and now I would like you to step out with your left foot and hit with an angle 2. So we have an angle 1, and we have an angle 2. Okay, now we got the angle 3, which is you stepping out with your right foot. Keep your hand on your chest. This is a horizontal blow. The first 2 were diagonal. Now your angle 4 is a horizontal backhand. I'm saying step out with your left, but you don't have to. You can step out with your right. Later on, you're going to change it. When you're sparring, you're not going to know where you are. This is just for training. Okay, now we have one more angle, and this is an angle 5. This is straight ahead. This is an angle 5. Okay, let's go through them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I want you to see the 5 angles that I just shown you in normal speed. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you have different varieties of hits. You have what we call a tick, which comes back, and a lob tick, which goes through. Later on, we're going to show you fakes with a stick and different ways to move. Right now, I want to keep it very simple. Let's stay with our 5 numbers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we apply these angles 1 through 5 on a body. I'm just going to take an unarmed person and bring him in. Okay, Mark. Now, we have the angle 1. The angle 1 can be right across at the temple, the tip of the stick. We always want to hit with about the last 4 inches of the stick. This is the angle 2, the other side of the temple. It can obviously be the jaw, it can be the shoulder. Any part on the body is going to work. These are real nice targets of the temple. We have angle 3, which is on the elbow. This is the elbow. Angle 3. If the hands are up, we can take the hip. Doesn't matter. Now you say, well, what if I move up to the rib? Is that going to work? Yeah, that'll work too. Okay? The one thing you have to understand with a stick is anything works. Anywhere you hit them, anything's going to hurt. Okay? Then we have the angle 5. The angle 5 is straight ahead. Anywhere you want to go with it. If his hands are up, I can take an angle 1 straight to the hand. If he had a stick in his hand, I could use it just to disarm the stick. So you've got your basic positions on the body where you can hit. These are your primary targets. Just remember this, though. Everything works with a stick. Any target is applicable. Now that we've covered our basic footwork, our basic angulation, the triangle, different positions, we've got the basic 1 through 5 strikes. We covered the different ranges. What I'd like to do is I'm going to give you some drills to do in each one of these ranges. We're going to start out slow, and we're going to work our way up. First range we're going to cover is largo mano range. Remember, largo mano range, he can hit the hand, but he cannot hit the head. So they're outside of range of each other's head. Now, these drills are all for basic coordination. These are drills to develop coordination. Think of a football player running the tires. You would never run tires in a game. It's for coordination. So keep this in mind. Okay, let's bring you guys in. Now, we're going to take this 3 angles. Remember, you've got a lob tick, which follows through with the strike. And we have a watik, which comes back. So what we're going to do is we're going to be integrating these 3 hits. Okay, start in. Give me a number 1. Okay, number 1. Stop. Okay, now pull through. Now, low backhand. This is the watik. Back it up. And high backhand. Good. Again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And, of course, we're going to add footwork to this drill. So what I would like you to do is look at this one more time slow, and then we're going to go normal speed. Ready? Slowly. Go. Again. Okay. Work your way into normal speed. Ready? And go. Now, the reason for the drumming is in traditional Filipino martial arts, the training method, they use the kunga. What you do is when you're hearing that beat, you're hearing an accent, your body is moving to the accent of the drum. It gets you to be a little bit more alive. You don't have that static footwork. Okay, so if you have any sort of percussion, you want to play Santana or whatever in the background, it's going to help. We crank up the music when we train. It's up to you. You do whatever you feel best. Now, we're going to take you through another largo mano drill, and this is very similar to the last one, except we're going to go with a high backhand this time, a low backhand, and a high backhand. So they're the Witik strikes, all three this time. Okay, get in position. Nice and slow. High backhand, lock it out. Retract it. Low backhand. Retract it. And high backhand. And go back. Okay, normal cadence, but nice and slow. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, with footwork on the kunga. Ready? And begin. All right, very good. Our third and final drill is going to be a high inward, a low, and a high. Okay, ready? Start it off slow. High, and a low inward, and a high backhand. Again, high, low inward, and a high backhand. All right, on your own speed. Ready? And go. Good, break. Okay, what I would like to do is go through all three drills starting from the beginning, nice and slow. Let's start with our high inward, low backhand, high backhand. On my command, ready? High inward, low backhand, and high backhand. Good, again, ready? High inward, low backhand, and high backhand. Good. Okay, position. Ready for our second drill we did, which is a high backhand, low backhand, high backhand. Remember, all these are done with footwork. We're just going through it slowly to show you the upper body. Okay, ready? High backhand, low backhand, high backhand. Again, high backhand, low backhand, high backhand. Good. And our third drill. Ready? Starting with a high inward. And high inward, low inward, follow through backhand. High inward, low inward, and follow through backhand. Good. Break. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is when you go through these drills at home, I want you to say this to yourself. This will help you with the memorization. High backhand, low backhand, high backhand. Once you get it down, with these three drills, you can integrate the different strikes together and come up with many more drills. Like I say, there's thousands of largo mano drills. We're just giving you three for the basic coordination. Now, we've gone through largo mano range with you already. We gave you three basic drills. Now we're going to pull into Simbrata range. Remember, what constitutes Simbrata range is that you have your checking hand, which means that his stick can now hit your head if you miss your hand smash. So if you miss your hand smash, you have a follow-up checking hand. Filipinos call this the live hand. This is the more important hand of the two. Okay, we're going to go through our numbering system, 1 through 5, and I'm going to give you some basic blocks for each one. He's going to give me an angle 1. This is what we call a roof block. Now, this roof block is really a smash on the hand, so I'm going to call it a block for sake of a better word, but it's actually a hand smash. So when he comes in with this roof block, I'm going to zone out to this angle. Now, the zoning is going to be all predicated on his energy. I'm just going to give you one basic angle, which is basically going away from the pressure of the blow. Once again, slow. Roof block. This is if your point is down. He comes at an angle 1. You ascend your stick. It's really on the hand. And we have this as a checking hand. This is our checking hand. As a follow-up, I have a number of blows that I can do back at him. We're not getting into that quite yet. Okay, one more time. Roof block. Okay, normal speed. All right, one more time, real slow. This is our roof block. Now, if my point happens to be on this side of his stick as opposed to being down, and he comes in, I can't bring my stick down all of a sudden to do a roof block. I'm losing what Bruce Lee would call economy of motion. And we integrate the JKD with the Kali when we train. So to keep our economy of motion, we have another block. So if my stick happens to be here, he comes in, this is an inside sweep. Once again, positioning, I'm angling off, I come across, actually it would be hitting the hand, I'm going to pass the hand, hit the stick for training, follow through. Notice where my stick follows through, under the arm. One more time, slow. Again. And normal speed. This is a good follow-up. All right, so we have two basic blocks on the number 1, the roof block and the inside sweep. Now we have an angle 2. When the angle 2 comes in, we're going to zone off at this angle, getting to 0 pressure of the strike. If my point happens to be up, we smack the hand, check, and hit. We call this outside deflection. Once again, slow. The first shot would be a hand smash. For training, we hit the stick. Okay, again, normal speed. Real slow, outside deflection, go stick, check, and stick. Notice the angulation in the footwork. I'm splitting on the last motion. One more time. Stick, check, and stick. Now, if my point is down, he shoots a 2, I can't bring it around quickly to get that shot in, so we have another block. This is called a shield. What we're doing here is we're just raising the stick up to meet the forearm. Now, would this block be any good out in largo mano range? No, wouldn't be powerful enough. But if I'm in Simbrata range, I have this checking hand to help me out. So when he comes in with any sort of power, I've got this hand to help. In reality, the stick would be on the hand. This would be a hand smash. So we have 2 blocks on the number 2 angle. Outside deflection and a shield. Okay, again slowly. Outside deflection if the point is up, and a shield if the point is down. Now we have an angle 3. My point is down, he comes in. This is a low wing block. Notice my angulation. Again, slow. Now, I'm checking on the hand. Reality, this is a hand smash. We're going to smash the hand and check. Normal speed. This is a wing block. Now, if my point is up and that 3 comes in, once again, I can't put my point down to get the shot in. So I have to do what we call a pass. This is a pass. It's just hitting. I'm passing the stick, catching it here and passing so it misses me. As the stick misses me, this is humming at the face or at his hand. So we have 2 basic blocks against the number 3. A wing block and a pass. Again, a wing block and a pass. Now we have the angle 4. My point is up, the 4 comes in. It's what we call a drop stick. Real slow, down, descending on the hand. All of the blocks are hand smashes. We're going to hit right on the stick for training. Angle 4 comes in, drop stick. Notice where my body is angling away from this rear hand. If I go in to that hand, I'm going to get nailed. So when I zone, when that 4 comes in, I'm zoning away from that hand. If it comes, I can hit it again. If the point happens to be down on an angle 4, we can do an outside wing block. Whereas on the angle 3, we had an inside wing. On the angle 4, we have an outside wing. Remember, the wing is actually a smash on the hand. We're going to use the stick for training. So on the 4 again, if my point is up, I have a drop stick. If my point is down, I have a wing block. Now we have the angle 5. The thing I want you to remember always about the angle 5 is it's the same as the angle 3, so that makes it easy. When the 5 comes in, if my point is down, I have the wing block. If my point is up, I have the pass. The pass is actually a smack on the arm. Remember, when this stick comes in, this is humming across, hitting the ulna, hitting the bicep, or hitting the face. Doesn't matter. So we've got our 10 basic blocks on 5 basic strikes. Okay, I'd like you to go through it slowly in the air. Now that you have a few basic blocks for a few basic strikes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why we cannot block using a traditional block with a stick. Well, what I said our blocks were hand smashes. These aren't blocks. So remember, when he gives a number 1 and I do my inside sweep, it's a hand smash. So when the strike comes in, I'm hitting the hand right away. When the 2 comes in, I'm hitting the hand right away. This is going to disarm the stick. Now, if he tries a basic block against my angle, as soon as I come in here, boom, I'm going to go back down. You can't do it because of the structure. Now, if he goes back down, boom, I got back up again. So when he's sitting there trying to block that, it's just a little bit difficult. You're chasing it. Whereas if you smash your hand on the first shot, it's a cake. It's a piece of cake. All right, so what I would like you to do, go through your 10 basic blocks in the mirror and visualize a hand that you're smashing every time. And then you won't think of it as defensive. You'll think of it as offensive, where you're hitting the hand to disarm the strike. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to take you through some basic disarms. When you disarm, I want you to think of one thing. It's always a smash on the hand first. The stick might still be dangling there, and if it is still dangling there, you have a disarm to accompany it. Okay? This is the major point I want you to remember. The other thing is, you never look for a disarm. If you're in a battle with a stick, and if this thing's winging at you 50, 60, 80 miles an hour, the last thing you're going to be doing is looking for a disarm. It'll just happen to be there. If it doesn't happen to be there, you don't go for it. When your hand's in a position that you're used to, you go, oh, here's a disarm, I'll try it. So I'm going to take you through 4 basic disarms. We're going to try to go nice and slow, and I want you to just pick it up on the side. Okay, you come in with a number 1, nice and slow. We have our roof block. From this roof block, this is what we call a snake disarm. If you watch my hand, it is circling around his hand. After I smack the hand, I circle around and pull it out at this point. After I pull it out, the hits are there. Now, the angle 1 will be coming in. I'm going to go through the first block I took you through, a roof block. When this roof block smacks the hand first, the hand is going to circle around the stick and pull out. This is called a snake disarm. Watch again slow. This is the roof block, circling around and pulling the stick out. One more time. We're circling counterclockwise, very slow. Smack that hand. Circle the stick around, and that's your disarm. Now I'm going to take you to another disarm. I'm going to give you 4 disarms. Remember, 4 disarms. This is a strip. When the number 1 comes in, I'm going to use the same block, the roof block. As I smack the hand, I grab the stick and I strip away with my other hand. Now, I can use any part of my arm to strip the stick with. It could be smack on the hand and use the butt. It could be the stick. It could be my forearm to tipping the stick as I follow through to come through with this. So all I'm saying is any part of the arm you can use to strip the stick. Now, we have another disarm. Is called a quick release. As I smack the hand, I'm going to circle to here. This is a switch. I come up under the arm, throw the stick down. This is a quick release. From the periphery, it looks like he's just dropping the stick, but he's not, because I've smacked the hand already. I've come around to here. As I come up, the pressure from me going down is against the thumb, the weakest part of the hand. That's the disarm. Now, the last disarm I want to show you is called a vine. A vine is if you hit number 2. We know an outside flexion already. All I want you to do is insert the checking hand, if this didn't disarm it already, and this is our snake. Okay, once again. Number 2, outside the flexion, insert the checking hand right here, and this is the disarm. We also have a quick release. We showed you a shield. Bill comes in with a 2, this is the shield. You grab the thumb, peeling it back, stripping the stick down. You can follow through hitting the body from there. Okay, again, slowly. 2 comes in, shield. Grab the thumb, strip it straight down. It's our quick release. Now we have the angle 3 coming in. When the angle 3 comes in, if the point was down, we had a wing block. Right from here, you strip it down, and you can hit the face at the same time. This is a strip against an angle 3. Slow again. And then we showed a pass. The pass on the angle 3 is if my point is up. If my point is up and he fires a 3, and I take it here, I can insert my hand here and quick release it this way, aiming to the knee or to the groin. Okay, again, he comes in with a 3, I smack it here, grab the stick, and aim where I want to fire the stick. That's our quick release against a 3. When the 4 comes in, if the point was up, we have a drop stick. As the drop stick comes in, smacking the hand, I have a snake. This is my snake disarm. Stick would fly this way. If the point was down, we have a wing block. From this wing block, I could do the snake, or from this wing block, I could do the quick release, or from this wing block, I could change position and do a strip, hitting this way. So like I say, from each angle, you have different disarms. And if you remember, the 5 was the same as the 3. So when the 5 comes in, I have the wing block, I have the strip. If the 3 came in, I have the wing block, I have the strip. It's the same thing. Now the other thing I want you to remember is for each disarm, there's a counter. And for every counter, there's a counter. So for example, Bill, you're going to do a vine against an angle 2. Smack, insert, and turn, okay? This is the vine, and this is his insert. I'm going to grab it here, back this, and take them both. That's one counter. We'll go again slow. I feed the 2, outside deflection, smack. I drop the stick, I quick release. Second counter. I feed the 2 again. Outside deflection, as it comes around, I grab the stick, and this is the thumb pinch. And the last counter, I come across, I drop the stick here, and I insert this for my snake. Like I say, every counter has a counter. Why so many counters? Why so many disarms? To teach sensitivity. That's the attribute that's going to make it work for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the basic blocks, the basic strikes you have, and I'm going to put them together with a flow pattern. We call this Sumbrata. Sumbrata is an intermediate range, but the box pattern that we have is a pattern that teaches you a sort of continuity. It teaches you how to flow back and forth. Now this pattern is made to be broke, as of all patterns should be broke. This pattern teaches you basic coordination and teaches you counter for counter. So the minute you block, you hit. The minute you hit, you block. And this goes back and forth. This counter for counter is going to develop the speed, timing, and reflexes that you're going to need to stick spar or empty hand spar or knife or whatever it may be. Now, we started off with a number 1, and I did a roof block. As I do the roof block, I have my checking hand. In reality, I would hit. This would end the fight, obviously. Now, when he comes in for training, just like we hit the stick for training instead of the hand, which would end the strike, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with a hit. When I come back with a hit, I have to let go of my checking hand. If I do not let go of my checking hand, he can't block. So now he's going to come back with an inside sweep. So we're going to do these 2 blocks again. Roof block to an inside sweep. Slow, roof block. I let go. I hit my number 1 back. He does an inside sweep. So it's a number 1 for a number 1. Now we're going to add 1. Roof block, inside sweep, drop stick. Now where are we getting these blocks? Why not a wing block? Why not an outside deflection? Well, when he goes roof block, right here is an inside sweep. He couldn't do any other block. Try to do a roof block from there, it's already in. If he tried to do a shield from here, he'd have to turn his body. So the only other block he can do with economy of motion, which once again is one of the attributes we have to have for Jeet Kune Do, which we fit in with the Filipino martial arts, is an inside sweep. So he comes here, he's got to go with the inside sweep. Now whip it in here. This is the 4. That thing is coming in with a rush. When he comes in, boom, this drop stick has to be here. If I don't do a drop stick, and if I try to do any other block, it's going to be too late. As soon as he comes in with that, if I try to go down here, I'm not going to get it. So I have to just make 1 motion for 1 strike. That's the economy of motion. So we have a 1 for a 1, an inside sweep, and a 4. Now, from this position, I'm going to shoot a 5, because I'm set up already. When I shoot a 5, I have to let go of my checking hand, or it's going to get in. So I let go of the checking hand for the drill's sake, and he does a wing block. So we're at a 1, an inside sweep, a drop stick, and a wing block. Now, from this position, he's going to shoot a 2 at me. From this 2, if I try to do a roof block, it's going to be too late. If I try to do an inside sweep, I'm going to smack it into my own self. So what I'm going to do from this position is a shield. This is why we taught the blocks that we taught, so it will flow along with this pattern. So we're going to start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him with the 1, and he's going to do the roof block. This means we're starting the whole pattern over. I hit the 1, he does the roof. He hits the 1, I do the inside sweep. I hit the 4, he does the drop stick. And so on until we get back to this. Now it's on my side again. And so on. These are the blocks that we use, and this is the sombrata pattern. While you're doing your sombrata, I want you to remember that you can throw in any strike you want. Later you're going to break out of this box pattern. When you do your roof block, you don't have to shoot that 1 back. You can shoot another angle back. Then you get to the point to where you can freelance it. Then it'll look a little bit like this. When we're training here, he doesn't know what's going to come. I might come with a wide 3. I might come with a 4. I might pull it out here with a thrust. I might pull this thrust out. And we're just flowing. And from these positions, you got to keep in mind that anything can be done. Disarming, kicking, blocking, foot sweeps, whatever you want to do from there, you can do. So this is what I want you to keep in mind. You can do anything you want out of sombrata. Now, we've covered largo mano range with you, and we've given you a few basic drills to do in that range. We covered sombrata range, and we gave you a few basic drills to do there. We have the box pattern, and we have the disarms that can be done out of sombrata. Now we're going to go to hubud. Hubud is the trapping range with the sticks. Okay, Mark. Hubud, Mark feeds the number 1 with the butt of the stick. I just put my hand up to this position. This hand is down, my stick hand. I raise, I slap, and I hit with the butt of the stick. He does the same thing. Raise, slap, hit. Raise, let go at this point, turn it over, slap, and hit. This is a drill that develops sensitivity. As we're doing this raising, slapping, and hitting, this eventually will turn to a complete sparring match where we're in here struggling to try to get in, to put in the headbutt or the knee or the shoulder or the hip. Little things that are subtle that set up the weapon. So once again, slowly. Raise, slap, hit. Raise, slap, hit. Once you have this down, what I would like to do is I'm going to give you 2 traps that you can do out of this. One is called a tapi, and one is called hilaing. So as we're going through the hubud, when I get to this position right here, I'm going to give a backhand instead of what I normally do, which is the number 1. Instead of this angle 1, raise, slap, hit, angle 1 with the butt, I'm going to go raise, slap, hit to a backhand. As I give this backhand, I'm going to come in to trap this barrier again, and I have the butt of the stick hitting the chin. So then at that point, he's going to raise, and we're going to continue the drill. So it looks like this. Now, if I feel his energy with his rear hand crossing past center line, I have to pull here to hit. Then I'm going to come back out here. We're going to go through the drill again. So once again, I'm coming in with the backhand to here, then I'm pulling to here, keeping a check on his stick hand. I'm going to come in with the butt, and we're going to start over. Now, many people compare the trapping hands of the Filipino martial arts to other trapping hands. One reason that they have to be right on, superior to any type of trapping hand, is that you have a weapon. And if that weapon hits you, you're out of commission. So therefore, if I come in here, and if I do a weak hilaing, or some people could call this lapsao, if I'm to this position, if it's weak, this is his shot. I'm out of commission. So when I get to this point, when I go here, this has to be powerful. If this isn't a powerful pull, and if it isn't crisp, and if it isn't timed just perfectly, I'm going to get smacked with a stick, and that's not a strike you can take. So once again, we're going to go slow. Raise, slap, hit. Raise, slap, hit. I get to this position, backhand. I have 2 options from here. One goes in, and one goes out. Then you just continue your drill. Okay? You try that slowly. If you don't have a partner, just visualize it in the air and go over it in the air in the mirror. Now, you feel pretty good with one stick. Now we're going to use two sticks. We call this Sinawali. With Sinawali, you have the ability to use your right hand and your left hand equally. What Sinawali develops is coordination, develops timing, develops reflexes, and it gives you a sense of when to put in the half beat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give you a variety of different drills to use, and these drills are going to develop all of those attributes. Now when you have the double sticks, when you're fighting, you have different ways of chambering the sticks. We can keep them wide, or we can chamber them under the arm, or you can chamber them over the shoulder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what we call the 6-count standard. Now what this is it teaches you to chamber the stick under the arm. So I want you to follow along with me. You hit a number 1 strike and you chamber this stick under the arm. Let's do that again. Hit a 1, put this right under the arm. Now you're going to hit a 4 with your left hand, and you're going to chamber this over the shoulder. Now you're going to come back with a backhand. Put this on the chest. So we're going to do this one more time. Under the arm, over the shoulder, and on the chest. One more time. Under the arm, over the shoulder, on the chest. Now that we're here, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. Under the arm, over the shoulder, and on the chest. When you put those two together, we have the 6 count. There's a lot of variations you can do from here. We're going high, my point is high. We're going low, and we're going high. Later on, we're going to show you a lot more variations you can use. Go through this slowly. As you see, there's no stance. You just move around. You feel comfortable moving around without a stance. High, low, high, high, low, high. Okay, you try that. Good. Now do that again. High, low, high, high, low, high. This is normal speed. Now you can change the angles, all high or all low, or you go high, low, low, or low, high, high. I'm going to go through a lot of variations with you. I want you just to practice high, low, high, high, low, high. Try that on your own. Now with Mark as my assistant, I'm going to apply this. This is a 6-count standard, high, low, high. We go under the arm first. This way we're armed for a low backhand. We go over the shoulder, we go on the chest. Under the arm, over the shoulder, on the chest. Slow again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Regular speed. Good. Now, when you're going through these strikes, remember you can put in half beats. Now, half beats are something you're going to have to play with on your own. Otherwise, you just won't get it through the video. But just notice what I'm doing. When I shoot one strike, I put the other in between these two. High, low, high, putting a half beat in between. You can insert these at any time you want. The one I want you to work now is a high, a low, and a high. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to apply the high, low, high actually functional, hitting his hand. Okay, when you smack the hand, wherever his hand goes, your hand has to follow to hit his hand. So therefore, it might be high, high, low, might be high, low, low. Could be any variety of different techniques. So we're going to start off with standard 6, and I'm just going to show you how to apply it. Okay, Mark, feed me high, low, high. This is hitting the hand every time. Okay, now, if Mark all of a sudden decides to go too high and one low, I better know how to follow that. So that way, I'm hitting it high, high, and low. If he decides to go too low and one high, I better have that pattern in my arsenal also. So therefore, you want to have a variety of different angles to attack. With this, I'm going to take you to the board, and I would like you to look at how we've worked this out. We have 8 basic angles of attack. Each one of these, we have the 6-count standard, which is divided into the right, 3 on the right, and 3 on the left. The one I showed you was a high, low, high, which is number 4. So if you do a high, low, high on the right, you do a high, low, high on the left, and you have standard 6. But there's more than that. So let's just start from the beginning. 3 highs on the right, you do 3 highs on the left. This is heaven. This would be all 6 going up. Now, if you can do 3 highs on the right, you don't have to do 3 highs on the left. You can go high, high, low. So therefore, it just keeps going on. So you match 3 highs to all of these numbers, 1 to 8. Then we go 2 to 8, and so on. So what you have is you have 8 times 8. So what we've got here is 64 variations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a few of these variations. We're not going to go through all of them. Okay, Mark, I'm just going to pick a few numbers arbitrarily, and we're going to do them. Let's do 2 and 5. That would be high, high, low, and low, low, low. High, high, low, 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 low. Okay? 4 and 6. High, low, high, and low, high, low. High, low, high, low, high, low. Now 2 and 1. High, high, low, and high, high, high. High, high, low, high, high, high. So as you see, if you have the concept of under the arm, over the shoulder, and on the chest down, and then if you have the concept of high, low, high, you can then take those concepts, move them on to here, apply these 8 variables, and now you've got 64 combinations that you can train with. Now we come to full contact stick sparring. I want you to notice the different ranges we're going to be using here. They're going to have long range, largo mano. They're going to break into sombrado range. It's going to be real quick. You've got to keep an eye out. And they're going to have puño range. They'll be kicking. They'll be able to use their rear hand. The equipment that we use can take a full contact blow. This is very important. We've got all the way down to the elbow, hand, and shin guards. These are the major targets we aim. A lot of times we'll put on the chest gear. This depends on the students or what type of training we want to do. So I want you to mainly keep your eye out on the ranges and how quickly they close and open. And also keep in mind that if we were actually hitting, each time the hand would get smashed, the stick would be disarmed. So when the hand does get hit with a stick, you're not going to notice that because we've got pads on. Full contact sparring is something you want to work your way up to. You should have your form down. You should have your footwork. You should have a basic base of attributes down already. You don't want to start this off unless you've been in the Filipino martial arts for at least 2 or 3 years. You want to work your way up to this particular level of sparring. Salute. Okay, begin. Okay, go. Probe with the stick. Lighter, lighter, stay in. Lighter, lighter, stay in, get in the room. Break! Good. All right, now we're going to work a little bit of double stick. I want you to look at the fact that you're going to be working each hand equally. If one hand gets injured, we got the other hand to kick in. It's going to also promote lateral footwork, and I want you to look at the rhythm, the half beats and the timing. Okay, ready? Go. Ooh, nice shot. Break. All right, in closing, I would like you just to remember these basic principles that we showed you all the way up through the tape. Don't look at the tape as techniques, but look at it as principles. And those principles you can apply to anything. You've got your long range, you've got your concept of continual movement. You've got close quarter range, you have your checking hand. You have largo mano range, which means you can smack the hand, but you can't reach the head. Sombrado range, you can hit the head, and you have your checking hand. And hubud range, which is your close quarter range. Then we worked a little bit of sombrado blocks. We have inside sweep, inside deflection, drop stick, shield, all your different blocks out of sombrado range. Then you have hubud. Hubud is your trapping. This is a close quarter fighting. With the butt of the stick, you can implement the headbutt, the elbow, and the knee. Then we went to double stick. We showed you a few variations with that. I just want you to know that if the Filipino martial arts are here, we've only just touched it. Now, also as a reference to help you to go along with this tape is the Filipino Martial Arts by Dan Inosanto. I highly recommend that book. So go through that, read that book, do what you can with this tape, and best of luck to you.